Alright, hello and welcome to the Metal Gear Solid 4 weapons tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to talk about all of the weapons that you'll ever be using during a speedrun of MGS4. So let's jump right in. The first thing you need to know before we even get into weapons is there is a vendor called Drebin. I don't have him yet on this save, but the gist is whenever you pick up a weapon, like this RPG, if you already have it, it will sell to Drebin for a set amount of points. There's a formula that these points follow that's detailed in the wiki that I discussed about in the general video. But I will give you the gist of it in the weapons. So, when it comes to weapons, you can buy ammo by pushing triangle on a weapon, if you would like. Except non-lethal guns, which are these blue ones, you cannot buy ammo for on TBE. So, you are stuck with what you have and what you pick up. All these ammo values you're seeing here are the maximum allotted ammo for the Boss Extreme playthrough. As you go up in difficulty, you're allowed more and more ammo, but the routing we work with the exception of the MGL 140, assumes these numbers and is satisfied with them. So, starting with guns or weapons, first weapon we're pointing out is the stun knife. You'll probably only use this once. It's kind of optional, but it has a stun feature, and if you use this stun feature for taking out a guard in red zone non-lethally, that's one of a couple methods, and then you move through. Next gun you'll get is the Mark II. This gun is very important. It's going to be your bread and butter if you are going for anything non-lethal in this game. It has the capability of equipping unique emotion rounds, as you can see here. Each of these does different things. Laughter makes enemies essentially go manic, and start shooting each other. Rage makes them get really mad and start shooting each other. Cry makes them fall over and start crying. I would shoot him, but trust me, you don't want to listen to that. And scream, same thing, but screaming. It's kind of obnoxious. Cry and scream you will use for Act 3. They allow the resistance member to actually bypass enemies that would normally be on the ground, unconscious or something that he would normally notice if you're playing New Game Plus. Bear in mind, all of these 4 emotion ammos are New Game Plus only. Another thing about this weapon, because it's non-lethal, any gun you pick up, like this guy's gun here, will have a 0.02 multiplier instead of a 0.01 that's acquired from lethally removing him. So you need to, on a new game, focus on non-lethal people so that the guns you pick up from them are worth twice as many points. Alternatively, you can also come up to enemies and hold them up. I can't hold this guy up because he's my ally right now, but when you do that, it actually multiplies the amount the gun's worth by 10 times. Bear in mind, that is a 10 times multiple of how much points the gun is worth if you CQC disarm or hold somebody up, versus the 2 times from non-lethal. Balance your methods accordingly. You also only get points the second time you pick something up. The first time you always unlock it. Operator is your standard pistol in this game. Not really anything to note about it. It's mostly used for distraction shots in this game. You're probably not going to ever use it for anything. The next gun you'll pick up, or the next gun of use, is the solar gun. So this gun is New Game Plus only, but what's special about it is it can charge 2 rounds like this, and then it fires a large blast. And this gun will take out any enemy in 1 fully charged blast, except for the beauties, which it takes out in 2 or less. And it's non-lethal, so it does it's exceedingly good if you were to go for like big boss or something using it, and you wanted to have a better faster boss fights like the beauties. Additionally, it is worth noting, over long distances, this gun tends to pull to the left. So, like, down a long hallway, this would actually be, you know, much closer to the left side. You'd notice that. You can push circle to recharge it if you'd like, in direct sunlight, but you're never going to need to do that. It's also the easiest method for clearing out Bike Chase on a New Game Plus save. You get this, if I didn't already say, by beating the beast forms of all 4 beauties and frogs non-lethally and collecting a statue. Sorry if I'm clearing my throat a lot. I've been talking all day, so I might drink water. Next up is this P90. P90's a very common gun. It drops from the frogs. If you're going for lethal, this gun is your friend. High accuracy, high penetration, decent damage. You can see the stats over there on the right. But what you need to know about it is, if you could get a headshot with it, it's very good. Headshots are almost always a one-shot kill with this gun. It's fast firing. It's the perfect lethal weapon. And you get it in Act 1 at Advent Palace when you first meet frogs. So, I mean, I don't have anything else to say about it. It is your friend. The VZ you get given automatically. You have it during Bike Chase. You will never use it again. You don't even have to use it during Bike Chase if you don't want. AK-102 is a gun that you'll force pick up. You use it like once or twice for distraction shots, and then you put it away because it's not a good gun. The M4 is given to you automatically by Drebin. In New Game Plus, you will never use the M4. You leave it in your weapon equip menu so that the game doesn't force menu it, because the game has this weird force menuing property at a couple spots, and if the gun's not in your equip menu already, it can mess things up. In New Game, this gun is extremely useful for Octopus. Alternatively, you could pick up a G3A3 and unlock it if you want. It's slightly better damage, but it's also slower if you do that. The other thing about the M4 is you can equip it with these grenade launchers and shotguns. The grenade launcher is more useful for multi-segment, if you wanted to do a couple unique top deck strategies or wolf strategies. But the master key is very, very beneficial because it's a shotgun. And because it's a shotgun, you don't have to go out of your way to pick up a different one. It can carry all 3 of these shotgun type rounds. Double O buck, which is useful for things like Octopus and lethaling some beauties if you don't have other better guns. And vertical rings, which are the non-lethal weapon of choice for the beauties in a new game playthrough. A new game playthrough. So that's very, very important. It will be your friend on a new game run. The downside to using the G3A3 is you lose the shotgun, so you'll still have to menu it. I can't really recommend it, but it is an option. MK17's another gun you'll most likely pick up at some point. PMC troops in Acts 1 and 3 both carry it. Mostly it's for points. It's not going to be a lot of points, but it is points. And everything adds up. Well, I need to stop saying, I just did it like 4 times. Next gun, the M82A2. This is the 50 caliber. It is the best lethal gun in the game, and the whole route focuses on this gun. This gun is why Drebin points matter. It destroys the beauties if you're going for lethal. It destroys Octopus. It destroys Raven. It's not so good at Wolf or Mantis. It destroys Vamp. It destroys Geckos. Like, I cannot justify how much you need this gun if you want to run New Game or New Game Plus. Oh, that's unfortunate. One sec. So yeah, you want to try to get this by Raven, but if for some reason you can't, you should be able to afford it. You should be able to afford it by Act 4. There's a code you could give Drebin for 100,000 points, and you'll get it almost certainly. Especially on Sunday or Wednesday when there is a 20% discount, and it lowers the gun down by a large amount of value. Railgun is given to you automatically from defeating Wolf. On New Game Plus, there's a couple strategies for it. Mostly Raven. You can one-shot Raven with it. Otherwise, it's not really useful outside of a few scripted scenes. And even then, it's optional. The XM25 is a gun that you could pick up on TBE by defeating a couple frogs in Act 1 that drop it. It's useful during bike chase because you can shoot Raven with it and do 25% of her HP in one shot, which she'll hit a damage threshold, but that allows you to always one-shot her with the railgun. If you're not on New Game Plus, you will not be using the XM25 because it's way too far out of the way unless you're on TBE. MGL 140 is given to you by beating Raven. It contains 4 kinds of ammunition. As you can see here, grenades are useful on Liquid Easy. WP grenades. Yeah, grenades are useful on Liquid Easy. WP grenades, lesser extent, Liquid Easy and Naked Normal, both in a single spot. After that, the main thing you're going to use this for is stuns. Stun grenades have a multitude of uses. You can use them in Act 5, Act 1. Not really Act 2 all that much for usefulness. Act 4 is really good for the Wolf Quick Kill. They're basically required for the Wolf Quick Kill on New Game Plus, or basically anything that's not TBE New Game. You can use them on Wolf and save a ton of time. And then there's also smokes, which you can use them, but they're risky, and and they're not really faster. So that's really personal preference if you want to use the smokes. But stuns are 100% worth it. You get 10 on TBE, but you get 30 in every other difficulty. If not more. You might actually be able to buy more. But bear in mind, you can only buy more. Or you cannot buy any more on TBE, so you're stuck with what you have here. Next up, down the list, RPG-7's a gun that you could pick up for backup or points if you'd like. I accidentally glossed over DSR-1. You get this for free. It's never going to be used. It's just something you get. The Javelin is super important. You get this in Act 2. It's the best way to fight Octopus, and it is the backup strat for Raven if you can't afford the 50 cal. There are strategies on how to use it on the wiki, but it's gonna be a very important for a new game, or very important weapon for new game. The Petro Bomb is useful for a vamp strat for a new game. You don't have to do it, but it is an alternative strat. It's entirely optional. Stun grenades, chaff grenades, smoke grenades are all general TBE and to a lesser extent non-big boss items that are very useful to you. New game has to use stun grenades for a wolf quick kill on TBE if they want it. You could carry up to, or you could pick up 8 chaffs unless you do the infinite chaff cycle, which gives you as many as you want as long as you're willing to commit to it 2 at a time. But chaffs are extremely critical. At a minimum, there are 4 that are in the run on a new game that you must pick up. Where you use them is personal preference. I prefer to use 2 in Act 4, 2 in Act 5, but you know, the more chaffs you have, the more options available to you. Smoke grenades are just smoke grenades. There's a couple strats with them. There's like Wolf and Top Deck being the main places, as well as Frog Skip requiring smoke grenades. But on New Game Plus, you can buy these special emotion smokes instead. The only one that's really important is Smoke Blue, because it allows you to kill Wolf in significantly fewer stun rounds. And as well, I mean, it's a normal functioning smoke grenade, and 10's more than enough. So it just replaces smokes, but the Wolf quick kill, making it even faster, is a significant part of this. And again, this is a New Game Plus only item. Magazines you'll get for free. They'll be there. They're a distraction mechanism, as well as useful for a couple things. Mostly Act 4, though, is where you'll find them useful. Claymore is the second part of the Vamp strat. You'll need both Claymores and Molotovs if you're going for this strat. There's a video on it. I can't recommend it, but it is there. It is an option. And then Sleeping Gas Mines and Satchels are items that you could pick up in Act 1. Mines react to Snake getting close to them. Satchels react to you actually activating them. Personal preference, but they're very good for non-lethaling frogs. So I would, you need to make a decision. Which method do you want? Which one's easier to get? And work with it from there. And then the last thing you'll pick up is the Mantis doll. This doll is required to beat Screaming Mantis in Act 5. You shoot it out of her hand, pick it up, and then once you've picked it up in New Game or New Game Plus, then you can use it on her. Do note, though, that using the doll requires 6-axis, or you can't beat Mantis. So you do need an official 6-axis supported controller, or you won't be able to do anything about this. And with that, I believe that's all of the weapons. Is there anything else that you'd pick up that I missed? Nope. I believe that's everything. So, yep. That is all of the weapons for you there. Hopefully, that helps you.